When we were finally beginning to understand endometriosis, what's adenomyosis now? Can your adenomyosis be the one causing more of the pain? Is there a cure for it? How is it different from endometriosis? I try answering all this and more in this video. In 2015, I had one of my best MRIs for endometriosis. The radiologist was extremely thorough and was able to identify areas of concern in my abdomen, including major organs and uterus, which could be affected by endometriosis. But in the report, I was introduced to a new word, adenomyosis. Please remember that I am a patient who is sharing her experiences. I'm not a medical professional, so please seek professional advice from your doctor for your health concerns. So, what is adenomyosis? To explain it simply, adenomyosis is, and I quote from Adenomyosis Advice Association, and here's the quote: presence of endometrial glands that appear within the tissues in the muscle of the uterus, unquote. It is believed that in adenomyosis, the inner lining of the uterus, which is also known as the endometrium, breaks through the muscle wall of the uterus. Just to quickly explain, it's this lining that sheds during a period. But now, if that lining has broken through into the muscle of the uterus, it is now trapped and can't shed during a period. And trapped lining leads to internal swelling and severe pain through menstrual cramps. But what does adenomyosis feel like? What are the symptoms of adenomyosis? Here's a list of the symptoms: pain during menstruation, pain all month round for more severe cases, heavy bleeding during menstruation, abnormal uterine bleeding, bloating, painful sex, pressure on bladder and rectum, tender uterus, digestive difficulties, there is fatigue, there is, if I can remember correctly, there is also nausea, there is dizziness, there is also leg pain. Now, when I go through that list, and I said it slowly so that I'm just confirming that these are actually the symptoms, and these symptoms also resemble endometriosis. So let me give you a quick recap of what endometriosis is. Endometriosis is when the lining of the uterus, also known as the endometrium, is found growing outside the uterus on various organs like the ovaries, rectum, and even the diaphragm. Unlike in adenomyosis, where the endometrium gets into the muscle of the uterus. For those who wish to know more, endometriosis also causes immense pain and heavy bleeding during menstruation, can cause infertility, bloating, painful sex, and many other similar symptoms to adenomyosis. In the years leading up to my excision surgery for endometriosis, I wondered if I was doing the right thing. I wondered whether I would still experience the same pain since I was treating the endometriosis and not the adenomyosis. Frankly, there's no answer to that question. You don't know what is causing you most discomfort until you don't try to reduce the impact of one disease. I believed, and still do, that I had to begin by treating endometriosis. But why did I choose endometriosis first? For that, we need to understand how adenomyosis is cured. Before I answer this, and in case you're curious, adenomyosis is diagnosed through symptoms, a transvaginal ultrasound, MRI, and a regular pelvic exam. But the only way to truly know what is happening in the wall of the uterus is during surgery when tissue samples are tested. So, can adenomyosis be cured? The only real cure for adenomyosis lies in major surgery that deals with a major life choice and the treatments that follow it. A hysterectomy or the removal of the uterus, leaving the ovaries, is the best known cure for adenomyosis. Suspected diseased tissue samples are collected from this surgery and are tested to understand the reason for all the symptoms faced. But before getting this surgery, a few things need to be considered. I've mentioned two that came to mind when I was looking at my options, and I would ask you to ask yourself, if you're considering this surgery, the following questions. 1. Do you wish to have children? If so, then you need to decide whether you wish to carry the child, or wish to have your eggs frozen and go through surrogacy, or wish to adopt. It's a huge question to deal with, because if you have a full hysterectomy and do lose your ovaries, then you won't be able to freeze your eggs later. 2. During the hysterectomy, if you do need to have your ovaries removed, you will lose the main producers of estrogen for your body. Estrogen is the hormone that's essential to maintain bone health. Therefore, losing the ovaries means a higher possibility of osteoporosis. You then need extra hormone supplements and additional bone care, because you don't want to be in a situation where, in the fight to eliminate one issue, you end up with a new form of pain to deal with. For me, I already have osteopenia along with osteoporosis in certain areas. Great, my throat is drying up. But with having weaker bone health despite having my ovaries intact, I believed at this stage of getting a hysterectomy done wasn't something that worked for me. Plus, I already have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and fibromyalgia, which brings with it a lot of its own pains. Also, I felt that going in for excision surgery for endometriosis would give me a better understanding of my overall level of pain once one disease had been treated. But that was my call. We all have to judge our situation and understand what's best for us. I want to add a third point here, which I have seen a few people not do. Post-surgery recovery takes time and needs to be extremely well planned. You really need to have a strong plan in place that spans at least a year before you can think of getting back to some normalcy. What you eat, how you move, when to get back to strengthening your body, the clothes you need, the therapies that will help. What I'm trying to get at is that a lot of effort is required post-surgery, which needs to be considered in detail. Otherwise, messing up recovery could end up causing additional issues. This is where a conversation with your doctor is so important. Every case is different, and so everyone needs to discuss the pros and cons with their doctor. Also, it's always worth getting in touch with others who have had similar surgeries, who will happily part with all their challenges and how they overcame those. I meant the knowledge of those challenges. The problem lies in not being told enough, which is definitely the responsibility of our doctors. I know I mentioned this in many of my posts as well, but in my experience, you have to knock on many doors to piece together information on your body. Unfortunately, many times adenomyosis is not even considered as a possible reason for the symptoms. This leads me to the next most important question. Why is adenomyosis ignored? Adenomyosis is often not considered as a reason for the debilitating pain, but why is that so? Why is adenomyosis ignored? Here are 4 reasons that I've come across through personal experience and by researching what other women have said. 1, adenomyosis symptoms are very similar to endometriosis and even PCOS, which polycystic ovarian syndrome. So usually doctors tend to give more emphasis to those. That's after you're finally believed. 2, that's the other issue. Most women's health problems are often dismissed and attributed to stress, something I've heard too many times. Number 3, adenomyosis is often mistaken for a uterine fibroid because of the similar symptoms. All the fibroids tend to be larger masses than those seen in adenomyosis. Number 4, many doctors aren't too well versed with adenomyosis, this also leads to misinformation and misdiagnosis. What we have to realize is that despite similarities in symptoms to other conditions, adenomyosis is very different, and taking a call to get a hysterectomy done is a very personal and a major decision to take. Therefore, we need to be well armed with all the relevant information out there through specialist doctors and surgeons before taking a decision. I wish you all the very best in your fight with adenomyosis. If you would like to share your story or your point of view, then please do so in the comment section below. And please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.